be on this series too. If Cloud9 keep on winning, all the Cloud9 fans are going to be cheersing each other. If it's a 3-0.
And last game was competitive. We saw that crazy Baron play from FlyQuest that looked like that should have been the suplex of the motion of the game so far. But then Cloud9 just immediately reverse it, move to match point. FlyQuest got a reverse sweep here, or it's lower bracket city for the Greenleaf team. Now, let's go ahead and hop into draft here for our third time today, as we do have the Varus and Nocturne picks banned out by FlyQuest alongside that pocket pick Ziggs, keeping that away from APA. Orianna and Karma going to continue to be banned here by C9. FlyQuest did elect for first pick yet again. Remember, they also did that in game number 2 after losing the first game. Anivia, final ban from C9.
Honestly, I'm kind of feeling now some, like, if you want to go towards a more powerful mid jungle, because that definitely has been an issue. Like a Pantheon for point and click, and then some sort of, kill looking lane to try and do a Pantheon Talia or something like that. For our bottom lane, though, obviously the early Lulu priority for our hyper carries is going to be the battle. And if bottom lane is going to be hyper carries, Flowers, you can try and keep them in check with a Twisted Fate to teleport on down there.
I actually really like this. API, I feel like we were just kind of talking off camera about how good he is playing on these engaged champs, right? He has been fantastic in the Annie, in big moments. I think his TF really kind of fits that style as well. It kind of combines the two. He loves playing side lanes and split push when he was big on Trist and Ziggs and even Asol. And now this allows him to set up his teammates to roam. It really feels like it fits APA's identity as a player.
Yeah, definitely has been. And we got the comms listening. Last time he played Twisted Fate was so funny because that was the game where Blaber did the engage mid lane on Jarvan. And, APA had some nice comms where he's like keeping it focused on our win con. He was like, we could play it slower. Just play around my gold card timers. We don't always have to rush in. So this time around, they'll be calibrated and play around those gold cards.
And if we're talking about hyper carries and Twisted Fate being drafted to go down there and deal with them, Nautilus also drafted by C9 to point and click that hyper valuable AD carry pick, whatever it might be, and make sure that it gets locked up. However, FlyQuest are going to go ahead and lock in a very early Sylas for themselves. Twisted Fate is normally a difficult champion to follow across the map. However, if he's in range and you see him start to do his card thingy, you just steal it and follow him. It's not that big of a deal. So FlyQuest will be happy to take that one as the Sivir is locked in.
Nautilus is also a great ultimate to steal, and they're taking the Sivir for themselves, which is one of the AD carries that deals best with a stolen Nautilus ult. So, there is going to be a great target for the stolen Nautilus ult, for the TF ult. So I think Sylas makes a lot of sense here. And Sylas is also always interesting to me because it kind of limits certain picks. Like, you don't have to... Exactly. You're not going to play Alistar. You're not going to play Malphite. There's some of these picks that just are kind of taken off the table.
And I also really like the Sivir just into Twisted Fate, having Spell Shield be ready here. Senna for Zven down on the bottom side with Zvenna on the bottom side here to be stacking up and looking for the scaling and the extra range.
Well, we know that Sivir is very strong when she's able to fire into the entire enemy team because of the ricochets, because of how much damage she can do. But if Senna is allowed to play the game that Senna wants to play, Sivir's never going to toss a boomerang at all because Senna's going to shoot her from halfway across the screen.
And the Nasus ban here, pretty interesting. I do think Nasus would be strong against a comp like this that is relatively low consistent damage so far. Wither, obviously very powerful against both the TF as well as the Senna. So they are paying respect to Gryffin's pocket pick. Obviously was massive on the Nasus. I think he went legendary on it, went godlike. And we're going to get some responses here with the Vayne ban. So I wonder what pick they're trying to open up for Gakgos, because this feels like a protection ban for topside.
Yeah, some type of melee that Vayne is just going to bully on top side of the map. Maybe they are actually going to stick Gakgos on a tank this time around, since they have tried without front lines and have lost 2 games. So maybe they're just going to stick him on something a little bit beefier.
I mean, that's what I normally think. If you're going to ban Vayne away, you're probably wanting to play some kind of a frontliner, right?
Like that's or something. Maybe.
Yeah, like that's what Vayne abuses. I know this as someone who only played an immobile purple Scorp that would walk at you for over a decade. Vayne is not a playable matchup at any point of the game. So we're going to have the Nasus and the Gnar banned out by C9. Does FlyQuest want to ban another potential lane bully top laner, or do they just feel confident with the Vayne ban ban. Okay, they're going to ban out the Renekton instead.
Yeah, so Gnar has been banned away. You know, they were worried on the C9 side that Gakgos was actually just going to be playing the Gnar. But the top lane pool is getting whittled down quite a bit. It is some of those tanks that are still kind of, you know, notably absent from the bans, both from Fearless bans as well as from the pick and ban in this game in particular. And this would be interesting, you know, if they want to go with that Ambessa. Of course, it could be top, it could be jungle. It is a flexible pick. It is a powerful one, and it's also a bit of a denial from Gryffin, who is someone who really loves to play it himself. And also, Gakgos is good at it too.
And the compensation buffs that they gave Ambessa after increasing the cast time on her ultimate were really good. So she just like jumped right back up to being a very good carry threat. And Ambessa, whether it's jungle or top lane, I love playing with a Twisted Fate. So you've got to carry, whether it's jungle or whether it's top, having a Twisted Fate and a Nautilus for more CC to set you up and make it easier for your ult to land, even though it is a bit longer of a cast time now, does kind of solve that problem. And so regardless, Gakgos knows I'm going to have to blind pick here since you have the flex. So I will go with that Cassante. This, I will say, is Gakgos' best performing tank for sure.
Because he's not an actual tank. He turns into an entirely different class of character by pressing a button.
He is a little bit of a
tank adjacent.
A cheat code. Oh, Shyvana makes her way in.
Whoa.
Super hype. Okay.
All right, you guys talk for a second. I got to Google what her abilities are called now.
Yeah, Shyvana got the buffs to buff up her bruiser build as well. So going to be a very exciting one here for Gryffin. See if he can be. I mean, they've built comps around him carrying before, and since they have a Lulu, which is you know, something they could use with Nasus as well, they decide, you know what, it's fine. I'll be with the Shyvana as well.
So spam in chat right now. Who is going to win this game based on the draft? Put in either C9 or Fly for FlyQuest. Vote now. You guys got it right in game number 1. So I'm curious who you're going to predict in this game, as we get another new pick here from Gryffin. Very exciting. I'm interested to see if we are going to get more of that bruiser style, or if we're going to get the AP hybrid that a lot of people that I have been seeing are playing. You know, the kind of Dusk and Dawn and Riftmaker route, that has been popular. But, you know, Kobe's pulled up the win rates, and it does look like Bruiser's performing a lot better for the most part.
Yeah, the Trinity Force. So Kraken, I think, is a little too squishy, but you could go the Trinity Force with the Spear of Sojin. Has been really popular and really been taken off.
Yeah, that's the ones that I'm seeing in my high elo spectates. Unfortunately, because of my computer problems that I was talking about the other day, I can only watch about half a game at a time before the computer crashes. So I'm not getting to see all of the Shyvana performances, but I'm getting to see part of them. Sometimes I get the first half of the game, sometimes I get the second half. But the big thing about new Shyvana, the third attack of the Q when you're in dragon form is massive damage, and I feel like the character's performance largely depends on whether or not you can get those high value third Qs.
And she's super snowball. Like, this is a champion where if you've got money and you're in a good, you know, condition in the game, then you can carry. But if you get behind, you become a sitting duck, and you're kind of just a target here for the enemy team. So definitely don't want to have any unnecessary deaths over Raptors like we saw in game number 1. Sometimes, you know, on Shyvana, you want to be greedy and you want to get good farm, and Raptors are very juicy because she just like deletes them. But you do have to be careful. So the mind games and the wards around these jungle camps are going to be big, because if Blaber gets some early kills on Ambessa, then he's going to be carrying hard from the other side.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool to see Gryffin bring this out. It's only the 4th time in Tier 1 that it has been brought out in jungle, has been played a handful of times in top lane as well. And it seems like it is mostly just the kind of that AD bruiser style, though we have had people mixing it up a bit. But right now we have Raz standing by with ThinkCard. Let's hear about it.
That's right, got Coach ThinkCard with me now. Once again, incredibly creative player in Gryffin, going with the Shyvana pick. Can you talk me through the option here? I'm sure you guys have practiced it quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good scaling. I'd say it's punishable early. If Blaber wanted to like invade a level 1, he could and kind of take our Raptors, but Blaber's doing just a pretty standard clear, so already we're kind of avoiding that part of the game, and as long as he can get Triforce and get his camps, he's going to be really strong this game.
And then just talking about the previous game, because you guys found yourselves in a deficit early, but you guys were able to scrap it back to an even state. And you're actually just even talking about this level 1. Do you feel like this is pretty impactful, and how impactful is this 2v2 for you right now?
I mean, if we don't get pushed in this lane, something's kind of wrong. So I'm happy that we're getting pushed. You have Sivir Lulu against all this. Last game, yeah, we were able to crawl our way back, but still we made a lot of mistakes mid-game, especially when we're running Bard. We should kind of be able to have an advantage between objectives, but we definitely were in a winning spot. Made one mistake, game was over. So the challenge is bouncing back with that, with the squad that is this young.
And so just tell me, with this composition, what do you guys want to do to be able to fight back and get a reverse sweep going?
Yeah, so we just need the Sivir to scale well this game. He's kind of going to be able to 1v9 with Lulu. Also, Shyvana Lulu is going to be a really good combo, and we have Sylas to be able to ulti to actually make sure we get engaged with the Null Assault. If we can get a really good swap timer this game with Grubs and make sure that K'Sante can be weak side and just get a lot of gold onto our carries, the game's going to be in a good spot.
Appreciate it. Before I send you back, good luck, Squeeze. Back to the casters.
Man,
The good luck squeeze.
Just squeezing your bro's nose.
Yeah.
You know?
Give him a little
Nothing
tweak.
wrong with
Give
that.
him a little squeak.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move on because you know what? We did not talk about in the end of the draft because of the fact that the Shyvana was the main story. It's Thanatos with the Twisted Fate top lane versus having it mid. Now here in the bottom side, Gryffin's coming around for the gank. Zven and Vulcan got to be a little bit careful here. Vulcan locking up Cryogen, pulls him back in here with the dredge line. Honestly, Vulcan doing a lot of work. Zven fires back here too. Cryogen is low. What a mess from FlyQuest! Good Lord! Vulcan with a flash forward. He wants to find even more. APA arrives here with the teleport, forces the flash out of Gryffin. Fly! We have got to bring that one back to the drawing board.
I mean, they didn't even get the flash off of Zven. They lose their Sivir flash. They lose Shyvana flash. They give a kill, not just to the Nautilus. Instead, it's to the Senna. That is a disaster start here for FlyQuest.
Yeah, Cryogen thinks he can just walk past Vulcan here, and Vulcan says, "You shall not pass," locks him up, and since he's close to tower, hooks him back in. Free damage, free damage, free damage, just waiting. Zven plays the range, hits the root, free damage. I want to highlight something that Thomas just said on the interview with Raz as well. Think our
Thomas,
that Shyvana.
Official.
Yeah, you know we're close. Like
Yeah.
He calls him Tom.
Yeah, you know, they,
Big T.
yeah, they hang out every Friday.
Shyvana, this is a scaling, is weak early, and your ganks are not big, so he goes into bottom side. It also kind of delayed him getting back to the Krugs a little bit there for second clear. It's not going to be a huge delay, but you're not going to have a super big impact there. You basically, all you do early, you can kind of run at people and maybe Q them once like he did, and that's about all you're bringing. The idea, of course, is to zone them off some CS at the tower. You know, you're pushing the bottom lane back. You want to make them pay for it. But it all goes completely wrong so early on in the game that you have to have strong mental, at least, for FlyQuest to come back, since they're already at basically series point in this one.
And I mean, it was going good in the bottom lane until that point. We saw Massu and Cryogen have the push, crash about 2 waves worth of minions into the turret, and because of the way the health worked with Zven trying to poke back at them, Zven didn't farm half of it. The turret ate half of the minions. They were in a great spot, but now that Senna that you set behind in terms of farm has a kill to his name? That sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Everything kind of going C9's way, but I want to talk about the top lane a little bit because, yeah, we never even got to talk about it. The Hwei was the last pick. They flex this TF up towards top, which we've seen from Keen and from Wonder, and Knock has played it. So it is this ADTF that he's going to be playing up on the top side, which does kind of print money here. And Gakgos is playing a tank, which he has had way less success on, but we might have a fight here, so we're going to have to hold our horses potentially.
Okay.
Blaber's only level 5, though, I think.
Horses are being held.
Yeah.
Level 6 here on APA, but it looks like, nah, C9 doesn't want to full commit to this. Gryffin, not only with the level 6, has all of his fury, ready to transform into that dragon form. And remember what I said earlier, the dragon form unlocking the 3rd Q, that's the big damage. Even if Blaber tries to go in, he is most likely guaranteed to die.
Yeah, so right back on track there. At least the dragon stacking for FlyQuest back on track, but Zven is also going to stack pretty well this game after the extra influx of gold from his kill. You can get to a quicker static shiv, means much quicker control of the minion wave. As far as the ADTF2, it is really funny. You know, they banned the Vayne up there, and you still get forced into the arranged matchup on top side. And since you can take the Ghost and Flash with the extra mobility summoner spell here, really annoying to deal with. But trailing lane gank right now, coming from Gryffin. We'll see if they can get the setup.
Yeah, and this is Gakgos on tanks versus carries. So Gakgos overall his stats, and then Gakgos only on carries. You can see his stats are actually very similar to Thanatos. He has incredible stats when he's playing carries only, which he did the last 2 games, but they lost with that. He has not really been able to perform on tanks. It's been less about the lane and more about his mistakes in teamfights, in my view. I do agree with what you guys were saying earlier, that K'Sante is kind of like his best tank because it can kind of play that diving style that he is so good at. But it is now Thanatos getting the carry matchup here. Gakgos going to be on the back end, and we'll see how he can perform, because when you're in a matchup like this, you are not going to win the 1v1 unless there are some massive mistakes from Thanatos. So you've got to show up in team fights. That is really your only shot.
Back.
Okay, Gryffin once again showing his face here in the bottom lane.
Power shot.
As FlyQuest crash the wave, Gryffin goes for the ulti, gets the flash out of Vulcan, but that's all FlyQuest are going to take.
Not bad. I mean, you get the flashes, you get the ghost. It's at least something. You know, he's staying efficient, you know, with his farming. So just going to be going right back to farming here. Gets down there. Didn't waste a lot of time. I don't really mind it.
I also want to see how much was lost mid, if anything was lost mid there for APA with the Hwei as well. It looks like it was Cannon Wave, so got right back. And grubs for Blaber should still go his way, even though Quad is going to look at them. So not much you can do since your jungler showed on bottom side of the map, and Ambessa continues to farm as well.
He can look, but he can't touch.
Yeah, you can look. You can place a ward in there. Everybody can look, but no one's touching.
Except for Blaber.
Boys. Okay, let's... grubs have been slain. Yes, Blaber has taken the grubs. And those are secured by C9, who already have a 1.2 thousand gold lead. You can see the recall being channeled now by Gakgos as Cryogen and Massu have made their way up into the top side of the map. It's not like they have anything to fight for in the bottom river right now. Still 2 minutes until the next dragon shows up.
Real question is, how much do you count the TF passive gold for? You know, is that like real gold, or is that like some clearly fake money, you know, some monopoly money coming up there? You know, are we counting that in the gold lead? Or are we giving it like half credit?
This dude's insider trading like he's part of the government, man. Like there is nothing legitimate about that TF passive money.
It is really funny because people, when they're watching Pro League, are accustomed kind of judging the value and like the power of a team with the scoreboard, with the gold at top, as we have him walking down bottom side here to overload this side instead. 5 people actually on the way from Cloud9. They're truly overloading. Hwei was even walking over, but he's recalling now. Gakgos has 4 members.
Yep, it's the 4-man play. Thanatos going to eat the early tower aggro. Gakgos staying alive for now. Tries to survive it. Ain't no way. C9 going to grab their 2nd kill of the game, but now Gryffin has showed his face and has to use his ultimate defensively just to escape as Vulcan hits him with the dredge line.
Yeah, that sucks, having to use that ult defensively there. Takes a while to charge back up. Massu and Cryogen are pushing on the top side. Gakgos played that about as well as he could. You know, he timed the Pathmaker with the gold card. He's trying to outplay, but there's 4 members there. There's not a lot you can do. So at the end of the day, he does fall down, and they're just staying around here trying to push for that first tower gold. Not going to get it on that wave, but FlyQuest is sending their bot lane down to answer.
Yep, going to have the rotation answer here again, but also look at the super deep lane wards too. So information and the exact timings coming in for Cloud9. There you go. Static Shiv completed after that recall there for Zven. And now you truly get to accelerate this champion.
All right, boys. I'm worried. I'm not going to lie to you. FlyQuest already down 0-2 here in the series. Game number 2 was so close. Even though game number 1 was a stomp, it felt like FlyQuest really had some energy, some motion, some momentum in that second game there towards the end, and then the brakes got slammed. And now here in game number 3, 11 minutes in, they're down almost 2,000 gold. How do you stop this?
Well, I mean, I think it's going to be about the team fights, right? It's going to be about the scaling options that they have down on the bot side with the Sivir Lulu. Yes, the gold lead is big, but you can kind of just ignore Thanatos and hope for 4v4s. That is kind of what you are looking at, I think. And
okay,
Gryffin is in the area. Maybe we're going to get a fight.
Okay, APA pops the blast cone, wants to make sure that Gryffin can't use that. Ooh, APA missing Spiraling Despair. That's FlyQuest seeing their opportunity to go in. Vulcan going to be your target here. It's Quad, steals away the Nautilus ultimate and buries him with his own move. Nicely played there by FlyQuest to finally get their first kill, but it's still C9 securing the objective.
Yeah, they get the objective, and they do get out. It costs Blaber a flash, and it's still, Gryffin used one to engage too, so pretty close on the summoner spells, and it's just the 1 kill worth of gold for the objective.
And it's kind of that rule in League of Legends where sometimes the threat of an ability, hold on now, Massu in some danger. Blaber coming down here into the bottom side, looking to make the move, but he only finds the public execution towards Cryogen. Lulu just killed Ambessa. That's not part of the lore in Arcane, as Quad gets a kill in the mid lane as well. APA falls. FlyQuest succeeding in 2 separate places. Thanatos tries to get the dive on the Quad here in mid lane. Cloud9 turns to Cloud9. Raz honked the nose again. FlyQuest popping off.
You asked how to come back. How about a series of plays like that? Massu flashing away from the ult from Ambessa. They get the kill in the 2v2 down bot side. Then they get a 2v1 kill on APA. Then Thanatos ult mid trying to kill Quad under the tower. But he's got a stun, he's got Kingslayer. That thing heals you for so much. And Thanatos finds out about it.
Just hands diff. Hands diff. Everyone keeps saying that for this FlyQuest team. Just fight them. Teleport up to the top side, though. Gakgos in trouble.
Yeah, Gakgos decides to go all out. He knows he's not getting away, so he has to try to at least get something back. APA connecting the Spiraling Despair there. Gakgos, he's going to try to TP out.
Oh,
he survived. You got to be kidding me. Gakgos stays alive because of the shield. He does not fall.
Doesn't burn down to any sort of dot, like you say. When you arrive with that TP, you get the big shield on the other side. Gets back to base. That is crazy because it's not like he just wasted his TP. It was a trade on the other side as well. That was the top lane TP from Thanatos, and he does not have actual teleport summoners, so that was his role quest one, and this is way back to that earlier kill here as APA was going aggressive onto Quad, but in comes Gryffin. They're trading incredibly low. Quad just flashes forward, finishes him off, and then Thanatos is saying, all right, I can get it back, but look at the Rocket Belt to build space, then the flash comes through. The Senna ult misses as he was expecting him to keep running.
Oh, shit, sorry. Start flashed.
Yeah, Sylas flashed, and then they tried to fully commit even more tower dive and also give over another.
Did he call his flash in that 1v1? Because didn't Quad flash after?
I'm not sure exactly about the timing. I do not know. However, they are calling it, and the Sylas flash is down. Honestly, game still very even overall in terms of gold, but now here comes the dive. FlyQuest lining it up, beautifully done. Quad with a stolen public execution. He has now killed Vulcan with a Nautilus ult. He has now killed Blaber with an Ambessa ult. He is making sure these guys learn their lesson.
Quad ate his Wheaties for sure. He's popping off now, snowballing these kills. 6 stacks Dark Seal for this Sylas. He is going to scale like a monster as well. And has some very good ults to steal. You know, you highlight it. It does feel bad to get killed by your own.
Yeah.
He's done that multiple times. And also, it feels bad if he steals a Nautilus ult, and then he's the big engage against your team. Quad is going to play a pivotal role in this FlyQuest team comp later on as well. So very, very beneficial to be popping off right now.
And, I mean, he kind of has to steal one of those engage ultis because otherwise your only engage is the Shyvana ulti, which now has that 0.75 second fear on it. But K'Sante is not a true engage. You kind of have to walk into him and allow him to do K'Sante things. Sivir and Lulu are not going to hard engage. Sylas can't do it unless he has that stolen ulti. C9 now looking to take control over the Herald. However, APA does not have Spiraling Despair down here on the bottom side. Quad going after Thanatos. Twisted Fate can go ahead and drop a gold card and just teleport himself away there with his ultimate. Thanatos' Twisted Fate not doing a whole lot so far this game as FlyQuest ready to collapse here from the Rift Herald. It is slain by Blaber, but he can't get to the eye.
Quad making money moves around the map. He just beats up the Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate is going to have to give him some distance and then teleports over to the other fight that's going on. Kill someone there.
He can look but not touch at the grubs this time. He's touching Blaber. He's taking him down.
I am
looking like he is taking over this game as well.
I am over here. I'm not touching that. Okay, let's...
just did.
Let's... FlyQuest is up 1,500 gold in a game that they were previously down 1.7K. It's been a 3,000 gold swing over the course of the last 5 minutes or so, largely based off of Cloud9 overcommitting, trying to make plays in the mid lane. Remember, both APA and Thanatos chose to fight Quad. Guess the play in the bottom lane? That was FlyQuest making a move. But 2 out of those first 3 were a C9 blunder.
Yeah. And looks like they might be make more moves here. Massu always looking to trade here on his Zven. Dragon stacked up though. With the control, wherever Sylas is, you gotta give them some space, some room. Split pushes is getting some distance, but honestly, Gakgos can just catch the wave anyway. So FlyQuest have it really under control here. Nice moves now. This is why you always love watching this team as they overcheck. Okay.
Not quite. C9 staying alive for now. However, Gryffin with the Dragon's Descent flies into the C9 lines, and Vulcan is already dead. C9 just seems completely scrambled.
Yeah, they are just not able to deal with this whatsoever, and they didn't even have to spend a lot to do it. Really just the Shyvana ult. They held onto the stolen Nautilus ult. They didn't use Sivir ult. They didn't use a lot, and they are pushing mid here. Going to be able to knock down this tower as well. APA is pushing on the side lane, but the top lane tier 1 probably going to fall to Gakgos. FlyQuest taking full control over this game. They have the Dragon lead. It's an incredibly strong soul.
Ooh, but now Gryffin in some danger. Gets caught out there by the gold card, flashes over the wall, and Blaber aims crooked there on the public execution. So now they got to use the Hex Gates to try to catch up, but FlyQuest is working to protect their top laner, and that just means, or their jungler, excuse me, and that just means Blaber is forced to flash back over the wall.
Yeah, Blaber always really wants to punish Gryffin after Gryffin starts taking off, it looks like, in these games, and wanted to Hexgate over to chase him, but the rest of the teammates were there, so he immediately has to flash back over. Now a teleport in for a teleport flank mid.
Zven knocked up by the stolen Nautilus ulti, and here comes Gakgos. C9 got to try to get out as the Twisted Fate ulti ready to channel. Blaber is already down. FlyQuest has woken up here in game number 3. It is a combination of FlyQuest excellence and C9 foolishness that has brought us to a 3,000 gold lead for Fly.
I mean, FlyQuest will challenge you anytime you want to fight. They are down to fight. Quad had the outplays in the 1v1 in the mid lane, then had the outplay on a Thanatos, then had another outplay in bot lane on Thanatos again. TP's in. They're finding play after play after play. And I think you got to give a lot of credit to FlyQuest for this, especially after how last game ended. Such a devastating fashion for them.
And I want to bring back up the jungle matchup here because it actually has been so good for scaling here for Gryffin. I mean, Shyvana, we talked about, all right, you start a little slow and you're going to scale on up here as the bruiser. Gryffin has absolutely taken over. Every time they make these plays, he's also taking jungle camps, because Shyvana can delete them. And so the jungle CS discrepancy as well is kind of ballooning for him. And now you're at your peak, your 2-item power spike with the tenacity from your Merc Treads. So you can just stay in there, stick on people. You have 3-level advantage over Blaber and the 2-item power spike. It's another big carry, like bruiser jungle champ for Gryffin, which he really gets to shine. And has a support on his team. The little Lulu can definitely help out the melee carries.
Absolutely, and those stats that were on your screen were from both of their last week's stats. You know, both had monstrous week 7s, final week of the regular season, really showing up big for their team. And Gryffin, again here, showing that he can go toe-to-toe with Blaber. He has gotten so much better from lock-in, where the entire story of the series was just, well, look at the jungle diff, right? You know, it was him not being able to compete with these top-level players. And here he is, like you're saying, on a champion, scaling well, in a great spot, up almost 50 CS, has 60 stacks of the scale mail passive, so that is, you know, really going to make him a lot more tanky than you would assume with this build as well.
38.8 thousand gold for FlyQuest, 2,500 above their counterparts in C9. Zven's stacks right now.
Oh, looking kind of low.
Yeah, this is not a Senna that is primed to hyper carry the game.
And we talked about TF and kind of the fake gold from TF passive. You know, it is kind of like, you know, champions bounce around that, but he has over 850 gold from his passive, and he's only up 860 gold. So basically, he doesn't even really have much of a lead over Gakgos. You know, the champion is balanced around having more gold in the kit.
Yeah, and it's all about how you're going to use it too. So rapid fire is done. Does that actually make a difference? Is he going to have a good? Thank you, observers. Is he going to have a good opportunity to play around gold card timings, and they're going to like layer their point and click CC? It seems very difficult for this game.
Well, I mean, also, Twisted Fate feels at his most powerful when there's a lot of good targets for the gold card to hit. Cassante is not a good target. Shyvana is not a good target. Sivir is not a good target. Lulu can ult Sylas if he gets targeted. I just feel like there's not as many opportunities for Thanatos in this game as you would normally want for a Twisted Fate.
Yeah, and that Sylas is jacked, too. We kind of looked away and we're like, oh, look
Hangs
at
out
this.
with the coolest dudes.
Yeah.
Goes to the hottest club.
Yeah.
Wears the freshest clothes.
I mean, he hangs out with Gryffin, right? We're all talking about the Shyvana carry, but the origins of this were with the Sylas, and he's got his like fully stacked Dark Seal, so all the extra value, and he's split pushing right now, getting a lot of extra money. They're kind of trading with top and bottom side at the moment. Eventually, the extra person here for Cloud9, they do get the actual tower itself, and they've clearly opted to, okay, fine, you know what? We can't fight you. You're stronger than us. We're not going to fight this, so we'll try and get the tower gold instead for Cloud9, but this is great news for FlyQuest.
Yeah. I mean, Hex Soul is terrifying, right? And I think about Sivir popping ult, getting sped up by Lulu, running at you with Hex Soul. That is a nightmare. You know, that is really, really difficult to deal with. So, you know, C9 definitely in a tough spot, but even from a more difficult spot last game, after FlyQuest had that great Baron play, take that Baron, one play ended the game. So FlyQuest, you know, cannot be comfortable here. C9 definitely have the ability to bring it right back with one great team fight. And Gryffin trying to keep that pressure on.
Yeah, and he's doing a good job at it. Smites away the Gromp. Again, just invading the enemy jungle. Blaber has Sundering Sky plus Voltaic, but it just doesn't feel like a powerful Ambessa as a teleport arrives into the bottom lane here from Gakgos. Seeing if he can maybe find some sort of a flank angle here on a C9. Quad stealing away the Spiraling Despair as the ulti from the Twisted Fate is about to come in. C9 firing back right now. Vulcan staying alive only for a moment. Abscond. Abduct finds the target. Thanatos about to drop here as well. C9's team fight just sucks. FlyQuest engage all the way. They find their mark, and they find it 3 separate times.
It's beautiful. It starts with Gryffin just bullying Blaber out of his jungle. He steals a Gromp in front of his face and then watches him recall from top lane and says, all right, boys, let's go engage on C9. Their jungler is in the fountain. And they just get the teleport here from the Cassante. So you can see Blaber now walking from base because he was pushed out, as we were talking about. And their teleport in from Gakgos means they just pincer the people in mid.
Yep, and Gakgos, you know, knows Thanatos is pretty much dead to right, so he just goes right past him, forces the flash onto Zven. They get even more. As soon as Blaber is dead, you know it is eyes on the Baron there in the Pagoda moment. Going to be able to claim that Baron. No need for a steal when you're running the game. You get that Baron uncontested.
I love how FlyQuest, when they do have the momentum, you know, they're feeling themselves. They keep making play after play after play. They're taking these. They will use that advantage like blunt force trauma, like run straight into you, push you out, and then force the play, immediately get this Baron, and now pushing to try and get even more of a secure hold. If they can get these secondary towers too before the dragon comes up, because we have a slight pause.
T2 was kind of losing bot. Both their solo lanes, you know, ended up dying to Quad, and everything kind of started to really snowball in FlyQuest's favor. So the plays that he can look for are pretty few and far between. You know, Griffin's farming his jungle, you know, making his options very, very limited. And when you're playing this Ambessa plus Nautilus, looking for that hard engage, but you're way behind in golds, most of your fights are going to look bad.
Yeah, Griffin's been farming Blaber's jungle and his own. He's level 17 right now. That is 4 levels over Blaber. And Blaber, if this is to be believed, the UI right here isn't even close to taking over his next level. So,
yeah.
And we just did see Shyvana, I guess the 17 has not updated on the scoreboard, but we saw her.
He is level 17.
Yeah, we saw her in the river. And so that is like a very real whole 4-level lead. Do you know how hard that is to do right now in the current state of like comeback experience for jungle?
Yeah,
Junglers complain about it all the time, like, how come I can't blast this guy harder? Well, Gryffin is blasting that hard because he's farming so much of Blaber's jungle.
Sure, dude.
It's hard to get your catch-up experience if all your camps are gone and you don't get like kills.
That's true. Yeah, there's
What are you catching up?
What are you catching up with? You got nothing over there. I mean, it is crazy. 3K gold lead. He has more farm than anyone on C9.
Yep.
That's a rare thing to see. You know, more farm than the AD carries. He's
A jungle flame horizon is so rare, he could actually do it.
The only person with more farm than him is his own Sivir, who literally auto-attacks the entire wave at once. Like,
now I'm invested. This is all I care about now for this game. I think that FlyQuest are for sure going to win. I just want to see Gryffin mega CS.
if FlyQuest lose this game, all 5 players, League of Legends isn't their calling. They need to just go put in their application for Major League Baseball, become pitchers, because that's a hell of a throwing arm.
FlyQuest loses this game, it really hurts their chances in this series, I will say.
It does.
Yeah.
It's grim tidings.
They still have a very pivotal moment. The Dragon Soul, we'll say 25 seconds in the future here, Flowers. So let's even see, will Cloud9 try and contest? Because it's so late now. I'm kind of thinking maybe they won't even go. Yeah, recall here for Zven. So
Yeah.
it looks like they decided not.
Yep.
Okay, he canceled his recall. I mean, it's a Hex Soul, so you feel really bad giving it, but also it's
Look at
pretty
their
hard
vision.
for them.
They
I
see
mean,
nothing.
Dude,
yeah.
You've got Infinity Edge, Essence Reaver, Shield Bow Sivir versus Senna with Static Shiv, Cleaver, and a Serpent's Fang. There is no comparison in the damage output between these characters.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is, with Mikhails, with the Lulu behind you, with Barrier, with even Shield Bow, you have to get so much damage on Massu to be able to kill him. I just don't think C9 have the burst to actually kill off this Sivir in any realistic situation. You know, even if he doesn't spell shield the gold card, he has to use it on something else. There's the Mikhails, there's the Wild Growth, there's the shield, the heal, the barrier. There's just so many tools. It is going to be very, very difficult for them to kill off Massu, and that's ignoring Gryffin and Quad, who are monstrously strong.
I was talking so much earlier about how impressed I am with Thanatos. And you guys know I'm a pretty prolific hater of the stuff that I'm a hater of. I am also a high-ranking member.
He hates deep.
Yes, I am a high-ranking member of the Twisted Fate Haters Club, specifically the C9 Twisted Fate Haters Club. And to be able to make Thanatos look unimpactful, this champion is truly doggy-doo-doo. I don't ever want to see his goofy hat in this game with this team ever again.
Let me remind you of Flowers all-pro votes
I
here.
know. All 3 votes now feel silly.
Now he's
foolish,
raging out.
Nonsense. Yes, I am
He's
crashing
lashing
out.
out at every
Twisted Fate is so garbage, he makes my goat look backyard, barnyard wash.
I mean, I will say, it has not been working out for them, but some of it was some self-inflicted wounds with that alt mid lane that did not work out. You know, Quad having the big outplay, putting him behind, and Quad now finding him again.
Yep, Quad's going after him. He steals away the ulti, ready to try to chase if he needs to. Goes for the abduct, doesn't find him, but now he jumps right on top of where Thanatos is running. Yes, there's a gold card, but Quad is still after him. Flash for flash. The whips, the chains, the pain. Quad picks up another one.
Yeah, you're not getting away, buddy. I don't think APA is getting away either.
Nope, APA's Hwei has also not found any success at all this game. 0, 2, and 0. Cloud9 only has 2 kills to their name, and APA has not been a participant in either one.
And I gotta say, the more we're watching this series, the more it feels like Massu is leaving Zven in the dust. He has been playing so well throughout this series here again, in a really good position. It does feel like they have this one wrapped up.
Yep, FlyQuest going for the end of the game right now. Both C9 solo laners dead for more than 20 seconds as Blaber and Zven try to clear away the minions. The next wave already about to arrive. Gryffin has his rage bar fully filled. Does have Death's Dance as well, and he drags himself into the middle of the fight immediately with a Dragon's Descent. Griffin's going to take a ton of damage, but the first Nexus Turret is already down, as is Blaber. FlyQuest full sending, FlyQuest ending. C9 Nexus will not stand. 14-3. FlyQuest hit back, and we got ourselves a series.
Man, when FlyQuest pop off, they pop off, man. It looks so good. I'm glad we're getting some more distance in this series. Let's send it over to the analysts.